Hello, hello, hello. We are back. We're gonna preview New England in Orlando City this Saturday, April 30th, 2016. Aaron Berg from NE Revs Rumors is with us as always when we see New England. Say hello, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Sam.
Of course, I always enjoy the conversation. And tonight, Ron was unable to join us because he's a Wednesdays guy. And today is a Thursday, but we wanted to bring you a match preview today instead of yesterday because, as most of you should know, New England has a double game week this week. So they played last night, and Aaron will talk to us about their last two games. So joining us this evening is my friend Mauricio. Say hello, Mauricio.
Hi everybody, it's great to be here, and I hope I can be at fill the expectations of filling up run shoes. It's gonna be a difficult task, but I'm pretty confident we can do pretty well.
All right, so we have someone excited to be on. Sometimes I know I'm just kind of muddle my way through these. I actually am excited and I love doing it, but I like the freshness of the face. It's always good to have somebody new. And if you guys didn't know, which I would assume you didn't, Mauricio is the one that usually does the match preview images for the fan channel. So just take this time to say thank you, and you guys can follow him on Twitter at Wolfpark if you would like. He every week brings me two images of the match previews, put them on Instagram, put them on the Facebook. One of them is the cover of the thing on the YouTube channel. So that you're looking at the man behind the art. Anyway, so Aaron, we're gonna let you start. I know New England's played two games. Last night you drew. I don't know about your result on the weekend, so maybe you could just fill us in there.
Yeah, so over the weekend we played DC. Um, it seems like it's something I've been saying all season, but they played well, but there was just those moments where it didn't go their way. We ended up losing 3-0. Two of those goals were in the very final minutes. It seemed like they were right neck and neck with DC most of the game, but they just couldn't make it happen. Then last night we played Portland at home. Again, we competed, we did well, but we couldn't pull out the win. It ended up being a 1-1 tie there as well.
All right, and since we've seen New England 2 weeks ago, we had a loss versus the Red Bulls. Mauricio, what do you think about the loss that we had in between these games with New England?
Oh well, this loss against New England. I mean, if you wanna go that,
New York.
New York. I'm sorry. Yeah, against New York, I think the team, started strong. With that Larry's gone on the first half. And from there on, I don't know what happened. We started lacking of intensity, and actually, New York offense pushed us back all the way into the last defensive quarter of the field. And we started to struggle, and actually at certain point, I believe that New England, I mean not New England, New York needed to at least have a tie, because they were doing a fantastic job when it came to creating options in order to put themselves in the scoreboard. But definitely we managed very well to withhold all the first half, and then probably, if I remember correctly, for the first 20 minutes of the match, I mean of the second half, and then well, we got punished by the first goal, and then the second one, it's just that we couldn't match them on intensity, or there was a lack of like movement or read on from our side, and by the end of the game we end up being 3-2, and showing, displaying that we have issues when it comes to defending a result and trying to score an extra goal that would allow us to get something out of there, at least a point.
All right, and I just thought we were weak in the back, and we, just you can blame the refs, you can blame whoever you want. There was a bad call, but it's just week in and week out, refs. So, at some point you got to look introspectively at the team and the back line's not fighting anybody off, not stopping anybody. In my opinion, Seb Hines looked lost. But anyways, this is a match preview, so moving forward, I think we'll see a 4-2-3-1 from Orlando City this week. I think our lineup will remain pretty much unchanged from last week. So we'll see Laren up top. We'll see, I think, Rivas on the left, Baptista in the middle, and Molino on the right. I don't think Baptista had the greatest game at all last week. After about the first 35 minutes, he looked pretty gassed and was unable to come and help the center mids get the ball at all. Nocerino will be back this week, so I think he could maybe get a slot in at that center attacking mid role if Kaká's out. I don't know anything about Kaká's groin injury. I really hope that he plays because without Kaká, we aren't always the best. And then, behind him, Higuita and Serin, and across the back line, I think it remains unchanged. Shea, Ramos on the wings. In the middle, we see Hines and Redding. I know Redding's 19 and he has some lapses sometimes, and I'm okay with that because of his age. He's only getting better. But I, don't feel the same way about Hines. Hines was just, looked pretty lost at times during the last game, and I think that that's unacceptable. So, Mauricio, what do you think about Orlando City's lineup this week to face New England?
Probably I'm not gonna see, or we're not gonna see a whole lot of changes through that match, as you well said. Probably it will be a good idea. I don't know if I will be the coach to put Bowden instead of Shade at the left back. Let's see how Nocerino works it out. That way, I know Sam, you don't like the idea of Nocerino because it doesn't seem fit. But probably, he's one of those type of players that has like a very large trajectory over his shoulders, and probably it's a matter a little more of adaptation to the team, but. Definitely, I don't know, in the case of Higuita, because sometimes one of the issues with Higuita is just that, he's probably a little too heated, too passionate, and, he seems, he gets yellow cards sometimes with, just for, making cases in front of the referee. And, even though he's a good player, I'll try to play Nocerino, try to look for probably like a change in the lineup in order to see if we can manage to find some reaction on the defensive line. And probably I don't know, I will play Winter as a central attacking midfielder on this occasion instead of Batista, and trying to put ahead in the offensive line to break shape, because I think he'll do a better job. He won't have to be worrying about defending too much, and but probably that way we might see a better performance from his part.
Well, I think all those changes are mighty ambitious. I'm not necessarily opposed to them, especially with the Bowden and Shea on the left side. I think Bowden is better defensively than Shea. Obviously, he's not the big name, and doesn't have the attacking prowess that Shea has. But I think that's a really ambitious lineup change. I don't know about Winter in the middle either. He seems to be sloppy in possession at times, and we've been really sloppy the last 3 weeks, like really, really bad. So, and anyway, Aaron, I know that New England's had a couple injuries since we've seen you guys last. So, if you just want to cruise through your starting 11 and then plug in the injuries and tell us what you know about those. I know MLS's injury reports aren't always the best, and you could just give us what you got.
Yeah, so I think the big injuries right now for the Revs are going to be Chris Tierney, Charlie Davies got injured last night, and then Teal Bunbury as well. Yeah, so those are some big changes compared to last time we saw you guys. Last night, so I'll go through the lineup. We're gonna have Bobby Shallworth in goal again. We plugged in Donnie Smith in for Chris Tierney on the left. He's been with us for 4 years. Hasn't seen a lot of playing time, but I think a lot of that's because they've been working with him, converting him into a left back compared to being a left mid where he had always played before. He had an impressive game last night. He adds a ton of speed to that left flank. Was pretty good on defense. There were a couple times where I saw some room for improvement there. But overall, he got rave reviews in his first start for the Revs. Next to him will be Andrew Farrell and Jose Gonçalves, as well as Javon Watson on the right. For our two center defensive mids will probably be Scott Caldwell and Kofi. But last night they did play Daigo Kobayashi instead of Scott Caldwell. I imagine that was a little bit of a strategic move, so we'll see what they end up deciding to do on Saturday. Our top four, just as a result of injuries and consistency, is almost definitely going to be Diego Fagundes on the left, Lee Nguyen in the middle, Kellen Rowe on the right with Juan Agudelo up top. Juan didn't start yesterday, but because halfway through the first half, Charlie went out. Juan was subbed back in. Juan was actually also coming back off an injury, so hopefully his return wasn't expedited too much last night. But I think as long as he's feeling good, he'll start up top.
And Aaron, I thought Scott Caldwell was pretty good against us 2 weeks ago. So what do you make of the game 2 weeks ago? There was a draw and the pros did the pro reffing as usual, but just everybody here is disappointed with the result and for whatever reasons that it is, but just to hear like an outside perspective about the draw in Orlando, so just your general sentiments on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall the Revs fans were disappointed about the result too. I thought it was a pretty even game. No, either it could have gone either way. It was disappointing that the referee decisions played such a major role for both teams, really. But I thought it was a pretty even matchup. It'll be interesting to see between you guys having less injuries and us having more injuries, how that pans out this time.
And what about the Revs like performance on the road versus at home? Are they a better team at home than they are away, or is it about a split, or how does that usually break down for the Revs?
I mean, like any team we play better at home. We aren't incredibly weak on the road, but I think we'll be more comfortable at home, especially on Saturday with a big crowd. That should definitely favor the Revs.
All right, and Mauricio, Aaron just talked about how both of their wing backs, their left back and the right back, Tierney and Bunbury, are both going to be injured. So attacking going forward,
Chris, so Bunbury is actually a wide mid.
Oh, okay. So Tierney and.
So Tierney's injured. Javon Watson is our starting right back.
Okay, and on the and on the other side.
So on the other side, it's going to be Donnie. It's going to be Donnie Smith in Chris Tierney's spot.
Okay, and then who's your right back?
Javon Watson.
And he's always the right back.
Yeah, he's always the right back.
Okay, so defensively, the only injury is Tierney.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and you thought that Donnie Smith played well. So, how do you think Orlando City can attack Donnie Smith, Mauricio?
Well, it's since usually when a team has an injury of an important player, it'll depend a lot on how good of a performance this sub might have on the field. Probably players that are substitute. I don't really know. What's the frequency of this guy having participation with New England? But all I can tell you is that has to be taken on consideration because you know, you have a player that obviously is going to be focusing on doing a good performance, and that is going to try to get together his hat in order to, you know, to not to break the synergy of his team. But you know, definitely Adrian Heath needs to consider, you know, what will be the best attacking plan in order to, you know, execute from that side of the field, and from there on, you know, depending on, you know, the performances and any other like factors, you know, he's gonna need to create a plan from there on. So we'll see. You know, actually we are having a little bit of issues right now on the attack. You know, because we have a lot of Ramos. You know, getting on the offensive task and trying to look for services in order to find Laring. So probably it's going to be a good idea using both. I will take care of Bowden because, as I said before, Bowden should be playing on this one. But you know, I will try to reflect my attacks on the Ramos side. If I see a chance where Bowden might get services to the box, that should be useful too, because you know, basically the only reference in attack right now, like the only steady reference we got is the Laring, and you know, obviously they're gonna know about that, but we gotta do we gotta focus on finding Laring and, you know, creating options in order to have a better chance to find the goal.
All right, and Aaron, I know Tierney, you know, is very attack minded, and is Donnie Smith? You said he was a winger, so is he equally attack minded? And they're, you know, trying to train him in, like, to be more of a defender, or is he actually, you know, doing well with the defense, and they're trying to get the mix to in the training? Do you understand my question?
Yeah. So I mean, so he's pretty attack minded, just like Chris Tierney, but in a different regard. Like Chris is great at whipping some great crosses into the box with his left foot. Donnie was really impressive by adding speed to that left flank, and so it's more of a danger of speed. But I think if he does have a weakness, it still is his defense. You know, especially as teams are learning that the Revs are more and more prone to the counterattack. They like to get forward. The guys like Donnie Smith, Chris Tierney, Javon Watson on the wings like to get into that attack. So if Orlando plans on springing a counterattack, like that's going to be where the Revs are dangerous, are in danger, rather.
Yeah, well, we're not going to do that, so
okay.
might end up being a long day. You know, we try to be open and attacking and hold possession. Our possession's been pretty bad the last 3 weeks. So I mean, you saw it versus New England, and it, you know, it was bad last week versus New York. It was bad 2 weeks ago versus 3 weeks ago versus Philadelphia. So, you know, I don't see it. I mean, we tried to pack the box and just sit there and soak it up and try to get a point in Philadelphia, and we lost on a last-minute foul. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we're not going to sit back. That's just not the type of team that we are. So, you know, we might be in trouble if that's the case. But Mauricio, do you have any other general thoughts, or Aaron, do you have any other general thoughts? If not, we can go to score predictions.
Well, yeah, I mean, last night it just seemed like the Revs were in that attacking third. They were passing, they were doing well, but they just weren't sharp when they were getting balls into the box and then not being able to do anything with it. So I think if that continues, the Revs are going to struggle too. But if they can somehow find the sharpness by Saturday, hopefully it'll be a good game.
All right, and Mauricio, do you have any other final thoughts about Orlando City or about the matchup?
Well, definitely, I believe that we had to take to the next level our intensity when it comes to having a group that would allow us to, you know, close gaps in order for the in this case New England won't be taking any like at least fairly easy chances in order to score against us. And obviously, as I said, we had to look for an alternative to Larin on the regard that something we had to come up in order to be not that much predictable when it comes to attacking. Obviously, we need to recover, as you well said, Sam, and we need to recover our best Winter and even Molino, because Molino, even though he scored against New England a couple of weeks ago, we need to from him to be an option, from him to be like attacking force, because it's going to be a very important thing what he can do from the right side of the pitch, because he's a very important gear to this team.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because last week Molino was kind of invisible, and it hurt us. So, but anyway, all right, I don't really have anything else. So, if there's any information that you would need from the game, I'm always accessible. My Twitter handle is right there at the bottom of the screen, right there.
Right over there.
And you can Aaron, give us your score prediction and tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter. So if anybody has any New England questions, I think Aaron will make time in his busy day to answer them for you. Also, we did a match preview 2 weeks ago, and we went in, Ron was here, and we went really in depth into some of how our teams match up against each other and all that. So if you missed that, you might be able to get some information from there. So, Aaron, score prediction and Twitter handle, and then we'll go to Mauricio.
Yeah, I mean, from what it sounds like, both teams are having a hard time putting it all together. So I'm gonna guess the game's gonna end up 1-1 tie. Refs are gonna add yet another tie to that column. And it's not gonna be the prettiest of games, but that'll be what it's gonna be. You can reach me on Twitter at AnyRevsRumors. Happy to talk about anything about MLS.
All right. And Mauricio, score prediction and how people can find you on Twitter.
Well, it's going to be a difficult match, as Erin said, because we're having a hard time trying to put things together, both teams, as he was said. And, well, you know that always in soccer in general, when you manage to get something out of a visit like this point, at least a point, in this case to Foxborough, we'll definitely, I'll say, I want to be optimistic. I think I said we're going to be win by 1 goal. Let's say we'll end up winning 2-1 that game. And if you want to contact me for like any advice or any ideas or whatever, you can do it on my Twitter account as Wolfark. And it always be a pleasure to answer you, and I'll do it as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, and Orlando City has given up 2+ goals in the last 3 games, home and away. I don't see that stopping against New England. They were lucky to come here and get a draw with our home crowd, and I think us going there is only going to play to their favor. I think the only advantage that we have against them is they may have some tired legs due to their injuries in their double game week. However, I don't think that that's enough for Orlando City to get any points in New England, and I think it's 2-1 New England wins over Orlando City. And also, guys, one last thing, you can check out Mauricio's Real Madrid podcast if you speak Spanish and if you love Real Madrid, because he puts one of those out every week. So look for those on his Twitter handle. And that's all I got. Thanks, guys. That's all for our time, and thank you for yours. Peace out.